Morning guys, welcome to your practice. This is a 40-minute flow that's designed to help you wake up in the morning with lots of different variations of back bends. So take what you need, leave what you don't, and have a great day. Okay, so we're going to start in child's pose at the back of the mat, but before you fold in, just take a moment to sit on your shins. Your big toes are touching, and just take your hands to the floor and take a little rock from side to side. And then this fold at the hips just deepens back, and you lengthen through the whole body until you're on your forearms. And then take your elbows out wide. You can rest one hand on top of the other. And you can either use that as a pillow for your forehead, or you could rest your forehead to the ground. And just take a moment to meet yourself here at the beginning of your practice. Let the body settle into the space. And let the weight go down into the ground. And as much as your weight goes down into the ground, it's as if the ground comes up to meet you, holding you and supporting you. And just notice the natural flow of breath through your body. And so often when we breathe into the front portion of our lungs. See if as you breathe and just take your attention to your breath, you could pour your breath into the bottom and back of your lungs, right to the back of the ribs. And then when you're ready to, just softly walk your arms out so that they're long, and take a little walk over with your arms, and your belly and torso will follow a little over to the right. Your head can rest heavy, and then with your left hand you could just creep your hand an inch further forwards and an inch further over to the right. As you reach your arms to the right, keep anchoring back with your left sitting bone. And feel the side seam of your body from your left sitting bone all the way along to your left pinky finger, lengthening ever so slightly, leaning into your left ribs. Just imagine you could direct your breath into that left lung. And then gently walking your arms back through center, all the way over to the left. And as your arms walk to the left, your right sitting bone anchors you back. And then with your right hand, you could just inch further forward slightly and further over to the left. And very slightly leaning into your right ribs. And feeling the whole right side body open as you breathe. Stretching into the skin and opening the intercostals, the little muscles between the ribs, just to create some space to breathe more effectively. Good. Walk yourself back to center. And then slowly, as you receive your next breath in, let that pour all the way up through your body as you roll through your spine and come to seated on your heels. Your head is the last thing to lift. Take a moment to sit up nice and tall. And then gently bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Bow your head slightly to your heart too. And just calling in your intention for your practice this morning. It can be anything at all. It can be the smallest thing or it can be the biggest thing. And then taking a nice deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale. And then release your hands all the way down to your thighs. Take your seat to the side. Bring your feet forwards. And then take your feet so that they're about hip-width apart. Good. Take your arms out to the sides and keep a softness through your elbows here. And then just really gently moving so that as you drop your knees to the left, your torso moves with you and you're just spiraling through the spine. And then you bring yourself back through center, knees drop over to the right, and your arms follow, right? So see if you could let the movement begin at your feet. The soles of your feet roll across the ground, and that draws you all the way through. And seeing if you could find a way of moving that feels free. You might even round a little bit and then arch a little bit. It's as if you're trying to find all of the little nooks and crannies of your skin that you need to stretch into or wake up. And no one's watching, so you could even just close your eyes and it's like you're moving through water. So there's this watery, slow, easy flow. And gently bring yourself back to center and then hug your knees in, cross your ankles, take hold of your feet, draw your feet in close to your sitting bones. Roll over onto your knees and come onto your hands and your knees. Good. Spread your fingers wide. Take your index fingers to point straight forward and roll the soft part of your elbows forwards. Micro bend your elbows and turn your toes under. And then just start to take circles with your sitting bones. So as you move your tail and your sitting bones in circles, that movement spirals through your spine. And again, you could just close your eyes and the movement originating right down at the base of the spine and then flowing all the way through to the neck and then the head. Right? And it doesn't need to look any specific way. Just slowly waking up. And take the circles the other way. Good, and then bring yourself back to neutral. Take your hands a little step further forward. Root down through your hands. Start to lift your sitting bones up and back, downward facing dog. And you've got a full minute here to move around and wake up your body in any way that you need to. So you might swivel your heels from side to side. You might roll forwards and back from dog into plank, or if you feel like you still need a moment in child's pose, you could move from child's pose to dog a few times, just starting to listen in to what your body's asking you for. And that might also mean just staying very still, right? Making your way into your downward facing dog. And just take a moment to feel, how can I lengthen my spine more? Maybe you need to bend your knees a little. Lift your sitting bones back and up. And allow your heels to move back, right? Rather than trying to press them to the ground, move them back. And lift up through your inner wrists so you're not dumping weight down into your hands. It's like you're drawing energy up from the ground, up through your hands, up through your arms, into your shoulders. And then take a walk with your hands back towards your feet. Feet are hip-width apart. Bend your knees a little and hold on to opposite elbows and just dangle. Just allowing the spine to get long and the head to get heavy. Good. Hold on to your elbows the opposite way. Release your arms, pour your weight down into your feet, and slowly curl through your spine all the way up to standing. Your head is the very last thing to lift. And when you get there, float your arms out to the sides and all the way up overhead. As you exhale, release your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers, bend your knees a little bit, open through your chest. And then bend your knees a lot, send your butt back, lift your knuckles, drop your head. Your shoulders away from the ground now. Let your cheeks be heavy and relax your tongue. Soften your belly. Release your hands to your lower back, and then your hands separate and you draw your palms all the way down the backs of your legs like a little massage, walking your hands forwards into your downward facing dog. You're going to take an inhale to lift to your tiptoes. As you exhale, curl slowly through your spine, so you're articulating through your spine forwards into plank. When you get there, lower your knees down, untuck your toes, bend your elbows, and slowly ripple down. First your thighs, then your belly, then your chest, then your forehead. Take your hands out wide. Come on to your fingertips, and your elbows are going to poke up towards the sky. Good. Roll the pinky edges of your feet towards the floor so your inner thighs lift up. And then root down through your fingertips. Lift the heads of your shoulders, the back of the neck, and the back of the skull. So the back of the neck stays very long. And as you exhale, ripple all the way back down. Again, inhale, root down, lift up and lengthen. Exhale, forwards and down. One more like that. Inhale, lift all the way up. As you exhale, ripple all the way back down. Replant your hands next to your armpits. Draw your elbows towards each other. Lift into a little cobra. Press back to your knees and sit back into child's pose. Draw your hands back towards your knees, curl through your spine, and come all the way up to seated on your heels. Walk your fingertips back behind you. Your pinky fingers are towards each other. Your fingers point back, and then lift the back body to the front body, open through the chest. You exhale next time, draw your hands forward, let them drag forward on the ground. Root through your hands, lift into downward facing dog. Heavy through your left leg, float your right leg up to the sky, bend your knee and open your hip. And then slowly bring your knee forwards into your right elbow. Inhale, relift your right leg all the way up and back. Bend your knee, open your hip. Exhale, bring your knee forwards towards the opposite elbow, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, lift up and back, bend your knee, open your hip. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose and then step your foot forwards between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the ground. Float your arms forwards and up as you breathe in. Exhale, release your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers, open through your chest. Keep hugging your thigh bones into your hip sockets as you start to let the little back bend crawl up your spine. Next time you breathe in, release your arms all the way back up to the sky. Hands go forwards and down to the ground. Lift your back knee, step back into downward facing dog. Float your left leg as you breathe in. Bend your knee and open your hip. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your left knee forwards to your left elbow. Keep lifting and rounding through your upper back so you're not collapsing. Inhale, reach it all the way up. Bend your knee, open your hip. Exhale, bring your left knee across to your right elbow. Inhale to lift. Bend your knee and open your hip. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Root down through your hands. You lift your upper back to create more space, and then quietly step your foot between your hands. Lower the back knee down. Float your arms forwards and up as you breathe in. Exhale, release your arms back behind you and interlace your fingers the unusual way. Front foot and back knee draw towards each other. Your knuckles wiggle down your back leg a little as you lift your heart. But notice if your front ribs are popping out and contain it a little bit. Keep the back of the neck soft. Inhale, float your arms back up to the sky. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Lift your back knee, step back into dog. Inhale to lift to your tiptoes. Exhale, curl forwards through your spine into plank. Now, move forwards very slightly. You're going to draw your triceps back. Your elbows bend back as you lower into chaturanga, but you can have your knees on the ground if you need. Don't let your shoulders go any lower than your elbows, and then take it all the way down to the ground. Inhale to lift into cobra. Exhale, take it back into child's pose. Again, draw your hands back to your knees, curl through your spine. Fingertips walk behind you, open through your chest. Big breath in. As you exhale, bring your hands forwards. This time, take your forearms to the floor. Take your elbows right underneath your shoulders, so your architecture of your skeleton is stacked up. Hands stay really relaxed. Turn your toes under, root forwards and down through your elbow bones, lift your sitting bones, drop your head, but your head is not touching the floor. Maybe stay here. I want you to get very aware of the anchor through your elbow bones. Your hands are relaxed. For you, it might feel good to have your palms flat to the floor or your palms together in prayer. Everyone's different. But imagine you could draw your ribs now back towards your thighs a little, possibly walk your feet in a little bit closer. You can stay here building strength or float your right leg up. And float your right leg back down. Float your left leg up. Left leg back down. Good. Take your knees down to the ground. Come back up onto your hands and your knees and then press up and back into downward facing dog. Float your right leg up and back. Bend your knee and open your hip. Now take your right knee in a circle out to the right. You're going to keep your body really buoyant, so keep lifting your hips and your shoulders. See if you could bring your right knee into your right armpit. Right into the armpit. And then bring your knee to your nose. And then step your foot between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the ground. Float your arms forwards and up. You're going to hold onto your left forearm with your right hand. And then you're lifting up and over to the right. That same side seam that we stretched in our child's pose at the beginning. Good. Reach both of your arms back up. Exhale, release your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Lift your back knee off the floor. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, lean halfway forward. Draw your right sitting bone back a little bit. Take another big breath in. Exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Step back into plank pose. Scoot forwards very slightly. Bend your elbows back. Keep your shoulders above the elbows. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale to float your left leg up and back. Bend your knee and open your hip. And start to take your left knee out to the side, all the way out in a big circle. Now shift your shoulders over your wrists. See if you could bring your knee right into your armpit. Knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the ground. Inhale to float your arms up. Hold on to your forearm, right forearm with left hand. And then you reach up and over. That whole outer seam from right knee all the way along the outer body towards your right fingertips. As you breathe in, come back up to center. Exhale, release your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers the unusual way. Power up through your legs and lift into crescent. Take a breath in. Exhale, float halfway forwards. Keep drawing your left hip crease back. Release your hands down to the ground. Step back into plank pose. Take a breath in, scoot forwards. Exhale, bend your elbows back. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Open your mouth and go. One more nice deep breath here. Good. Root through your left foot, float your right leg up and back. Bend your knee and open your hip. As you exhale, bring your right knee out to the right and into your right armpit. Then tap your knee to your nose. Then step your foot between your hands. Keep your back knee lifted. Float your arms forwards and up. Exhale, turn your back heel down and in warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, but it's unsupported. So your left arm floats forward, right arm floats back. And as you exhale, side angle pose where your right arm goes back and your left arm goes forwards. Okay, and you're just going to flow with this in your own way. So inhale, it's reverse. And exhale, it's side angle. But like that kind of seaweedy arm movement that we did at the beginning, we could do this in kind of a more linear way. Like perfect. And what I want you to explore here is that your legs are very steady, but there's this very free way of moving through the upper body. So that might include rounding a little bit, opening a little bit. Good. Next time you're in reverse warrior, pause there. Take your left hand to your back leg now and lengthen your front leg long. Start to reach forward through your right arm. Shift your pelvis to the back heel. Come on into your triangle pose. Right hand rests on your right shin. Draw up through the middle of your right thigh muscle. And then reach your left arm all the way up to the sky. You're going to take your hand to the back of your skull with your fingertips pointing down towards your neck. Your elbow's going to point straight forwards towards the front of your mat. And then lean your head back into your hand. Spiral your right ribs to your left ribs and your left ribs to the sky. As you inhale, reach your arm all the way up. Exhale, release your hands down to the floor. Bend your right knee. Turn onto the ball of your back foot and wiggle your right foot out to the right. Lower your back knee down to the ground. Take your left hand off to the left, off of your mat with your fingers pointing out to the side. Bend that elbow a little bit and draw your left shoulder blade down your back. Your right hand's going to make a C shape. You're going to take your hand onto your right thigh and then press your thigh away from you and forwards as you lean away. Stay there or reach your right arm up to the sky. Stay there or reach your arm back behind you. Maybe float your foot. Keep your right shoulder open. Pick up the back foot and hold on to the pinky edge. Lift your sitting bone up towards your heel. Keep that connection and then re-lower back down. But your foot is pressing back into your hand as you do this. Notice that your left shoulder could be pouring forwards. Draw it back. Keep your left elbow bending back a little bit. You're right into the quadriceps here. As much as you're lowering down, there's still that sense that you're dragging front foot and back knee towards each other so that the little back bend here can lift up the spine. And then release that leg all the way out. Circle your right arm up and over. Take your hands to the floor. Good. You can stay here or come down onto your forearms. Your sternum keeps drawing forwards. The back of the neck is long. You can stay or lift your back knee. Keep hugging your right knee now to your outer right shoulder. Easy breath. Good. Release your back knee. Come back up onto your hands. Draw your right foot back so that you end up on your knees. Keep your toes tucked under. Walk your hands back and then all the way up your legs until you're standing on your knees. And if you need to double up your mat so that you're more supported under your knees, you can do that. Float your arms forwards and up. And as you exhale, circle your arms back behind you. Take your thumbs towards the inside of your back, so towards your spine, and your other fingers to the outside. Draw your elbows towards each other. Broaden your collarbones. Lift your ribs up. The side ribs lift up. Good. Not taking it very far here, but just getting this sense of upward lifting, as if you're drawing the back bend up your spine a little. And then release. Bring your hands, cross them over your chest. Take a breath in. You're not going to do any back bending here, but just waking up the quads and your core. And by core, I mean, everything, and specifically the muscles along your spine. So take a breath in. As you exhale, just lean back without thinking back bend. Just lean back. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean back. See how much your quads have to work here. Inhale, come back up. Last one. Lean it back. And then come all the way back up. So you see how much strength is really required here. And then release your arms alongside your body. Float them forwards and up. Relax them back behind you. Thumbs in, fingers out. Lift the side body. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. And then lean back. Maybe release your hands to your heels. But notice I haven't made a huge big back bend with flexibility. I'm just using that backing up action, the strength of my quads. And then from there, it's like you start to lift forwards and upwards. So the back of the heart lifts to the front of the heart. Maybe lift your gaze a little. Potentially release your head back, but see how that feels for your neck and let your neck choose. Take another big breath in. Another breath out. And then inhale to bring yourself back up. Untuck your toes, sit onto your heels, rest your hands to your thighs, close your eyes, and just take a moment. Try not to fix anything. Good. Softly blink your eyes open. Wiggle your mat forwards if you tucked it under. Slide your hands forward. Turn your toes under. Downward facing dog. Float your left leg up and back as you breathe in. Bend your knee and open your hip. Take your knee out to the side and all the way into your armpit. And then bring your knee to your nose. And then step your foot between your hands. Keep the back knee lifted. Float your arms forwards and up as you breathe in. As you exhale, release your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers open through your chest. And as you exhale, fold halfway forward. Good. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Turn your back heel down and in. Open your arms out to the side. We're coming into that flow. So inhale, your right arm goes forward, your left arm goes back, reverse warrior. And as you exhale, side angle pose, unsupported. So left arm floats forward, right arm forwards. Left arm floats back, right arm forwards. And then inhale, open it up. Exhale to flow. And so when we move in this way, really trying to get that sense of freedom, not only the strength in the muscles and the support of knowing the alignment, but that, freedom in the fascia, the connective tissue too. Right? If our muscles are very flexible, but the connective tissue is stuck, it's almost like being a super flexible yogi, but then trying to practice in really tight jeans, right? So we have to find this way of moving and gliding and finding space, not only in the muscles, but in the fascia too. Next time you're in reverse warrior, stay there, right hand to back leg, reach your left arm up and over. Breathe into that left seam of the body, and then start to lengthen your front leg, tilt your pelvis back, and start to reach your left hand down towards your shin. Right arm goes up, triangle pose. Take your hand to the back of your skull, fingers point down your neck, and then your skull rests back into your forearm. Notice your elbows not pointing up to the sky, it's pointing forwards. Micro bend your left knee, lift the arch of your right foot. Good. Inhale, re-reach your arm up. Circle it all the way forwards and down as you turn onto the ball of your back foot. Wiggle your left foot to the left, lower your back knee down to the ground. Take your right hand off of your mat to the right with your fingers pointing to the right, and then take your left hand C-shape onto the thigh. It's like you press your muscle forward as you start to pivot away from your leg. You're lifting your heart up. Bottom tips of the shoulder blades, lift your heart up. But for that to happen, instead of collapsing forward with your right shoulder, draw the right shoulder back. Corkscrew your right arm bone back, and your shoulder blade then lifts the heart. You can stay there or reach your arm up to the sky. Left arm lifts. You can stay there or reach it back. And then without closing here, keep your left shoulder open. Find your back foot, pinky edge. Good. Then lift your right sitting bone up to your right heel. Keep that connection and start to lower down with your heel and your sitting bone connected. So you might not go very far. Keep pressing your foot back into your hand. Keep micro-bending your right elbow and then lift your heart. Easy in the jaw. Good. Release that foot down. Circle your left arm all the way up and over. Hands to the inside of your front leg. You can stay here or lower down onto your forearms. Stay here or lift your back knee. Hug your left knee in towards your outer left shoulder. Sternum draws forward, almost like cobra pose through the chest, but then the head is relaxed. Good. Release your back knee down. Come back up onto your hands and your knees. Draw your left foot back and your left knee meets your right knee. Sit back into child's pose. Curl through your spine. Come all the way up. Fingertips back. Pinky fingers towards each other. Lift back body to front body. Exhale. Draw your hands forwards. Come onto your forearms. Hands can be in prayer. Arms can be parallel, palms can face down. It depends on how your arms are built, but the most important thing is having the sense that you're anchoring down and forwards, like you're pushing your mat forwards a little bit through your elbows. Tuck your toes, lift your sitting bones, drop your head. Walk your feet in nice and close. You can stay there, or you can float your right leg up to the sky. And then see if you could come right up onto the tiptoes of your left foot. If that's happening, you could try taking a little float up into your pincha. You can stay with your legs in almost like a splits, or you could draw your legs towards each other. And it's like one leg, the top leg is a magnet that draws the other leg up. Your hands are still relaxed, and I like to practice this pose with my gaze to the back of my mat so the back of the neck can be long. If you're not finding balance and you want to be practicing it, your top leg is lifted and you can take tiny little hops where you kick your left heel towards your left butt cheek and glue your left thigh to your belly so you don't go flying overhead. Good. Slowly find the floor again. Release your knees down to the ground. Walk your knees back a little bit. Walk your hands forward. Puppy pose. Release your forehead down to the ground. Let your sitting bones lift and broaden. Your tail can lift and your spine drapes down. Good. Walk your hands all the way back. Sit back into child's pose. Curl through your spine, come all the way up to seated on your heels, and then take your seat to the side. Bring your legs forwards. Bring your butt forwards towards your feet. Your feet are parallel. Take your hands onto your knees. As you inhale, roll onto the pinky edges of your feet as you lift your chest forward. And as you exhale, draw your knees towards each other. Round, 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 round. Inhale, broaden your knees. Lengthen through the front body. Exhale to round. Again, inhale, open it up. Exhale to round. Inhale, come back to neutral. Bring your left hand behind you with your fingers pointing back. Your right arm is going to sweep out to the side and all the way up overhead. Take your hand to your outer left hip. Then you're going to pick up your butt and take your weight forwards into your feet. Then you're going to start to root down through your feet and your hand and maybe lift your hips a little bit. If that's going well, you could lift your hips even more and come into a little half wheel type thing. And then sit your butt down. And then you're going to wave your arms all the way over. Right hand behind you, left hand to outer right hip. It's like you pick yourself up. Weight forward into your feet, lift your butt, and then lift a little bit. Or you can lift a little bit more and sit your butt down. So just finding a way for your body to feel like, oh, it's no big deal. Weight forward and then lift it up, open it up. And then sit back down. And then all the way around. Root it down, pick it up. And sit yourself all the way back down. Good, and then take your arms forwards and start to roll all the way down to your back for 3, 2, and 1. Set your feet up so that you can tickle the back of your heels with your fingertips. Root down into your feet. Take your knees forwards. Let the action of rooting down through the feet and knees moving forward lift your pelvis up. Good. Arms are alongside the body. You can keep them there. You can wiggle your arms a little closer towards each other and interlace your fingers. Lengthen your tail to the space between your knees. The back of your skull rest heavy to the ground. You could close your eyes. Stay here or set up your hands for wheel. Fingers point back towards your feet. Let this be a nice experience for your spine. So if it feels traumatic, stay where you are. Let your body have time. Give yourself time. We only take the postures that our body's offering, right? When you're ready to root down and bring yourself all the way up, stand in your feet. Take your time to find yourself connected to the ground. Head is heavy. Weight goes a little forwards into your hands, and you can move forwards and back a little bit, bend your elbows a little bit. Take another couple of breaths. Good, chin to chest. Bend your elbows really slowly lower down. First the back of the skull or the shoulders, and then one by one, vertebra find the ground. Good. Take your arms out to the sides. Let both of your knees drop to the left, but keep your feet as wide as your mat, so it's like a really nice wide twist. And then inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Let them drop over to the right, so it's like windscreen wipers. Just gently lifting back to center, moving over to the side. Lifting back to center, moving to the side. Good, and lift back to center. Take the soles of your feet together, let your knees drop out to the sides. I like to take my arms overhead, but you can take your arms out to the side or rest your hands on your body. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale. And then gently release. Let your arms drag on the floor as if you're drawing angels in snow. You don't even lift them up. Let them drag alongside your body. Lengthen your legs out one at a time. Shuffle so that you can get comfy. And just take a few moments to rest. Shavasana. Your heart, slow down. Your breath, slow down. Notice how after some movement, it's so much easier for us to be in our body, more embodied. And breathing down into every single cell. And every single cell itself is also breathing. So it's this real full body breath. Let your eyes get heavy. And broaden your forehead, your whole scalp. Let the jaw soften. And relax the root of your tongue. And just as we began, we come back to this sense of weight going down. But as much as weight is going down, it's like the ground comes up to meet you. And take a nice deep breath in. Pause at the top, soak it up. And then soft, slow exhale. Bringing some movements into your periphery, maybe a little wobble of your head. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes. And then stretch out as if you're waking up for the first time. And as you exhale, just relax. Step your feet in. And roll over onto your right side. Take a moment here on your right side. Let the whole skin body soften. And then rooting down through your hands, gently bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Any comfortable seat is fine. Let your hands land where they land, resting on your legs. And just take a moment to sit in your body and meet yourself here at the end of your practice. Let everything settle. And then just gently bringing your hands to your heart, one hand on top of the other, bowing your chin in a little bit. Just feel your heartbeat, feel the life underneath your hands. And connecting our hands to our hearts so that as we move out into our day, we can act from that place. And bringing hands to prayer. Remember your intention. And offering up all of our efforts into that intention. And we'll finish there. Namaskar. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.